Okay, guys, hello. Today we're gonna be learning. Today we are going to be learning how to play Brother Louie by Stories, that classic 70s song. We're gonna be learning all of the parts, including the solos, and I'm using mainly the studio version of the audio. In YouTube you can find mainly two versions of the song. The first one, well, both videos show footage from the Midnight Special, but one has the actual audio from that performance and the other one is an audio overdub. So I'm going mainly off the audio overdub one, and I'm also using the live version a little bit to show you some different things. So yeah, let's go and let's learn the song, guys. So first we are going to learn the main chord progression. This chord progression happens throughout most of the song. It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be mainly three chords, and at the end we're gonna change one. Um, so those chords are going to be first an A minor. After watching the Midnight Special version of the song and analyzing the other chords, what I like to do personally is play the A minor the Hendrix way. So I'm playing it with the thumb over the fretboard, but the classic way of playing an A minor chord on the fifth fret is you do a bar with your first finger on the entire fifth fret. Then on the seventh fret you play with your pinky the D, and with your ring finger you play the A, like this. Okay, but I like to play the low E with my thumb on the fifth fret. Then with my first finger I do a bar across high E, B, and G, and with my ring finger I play the D string on the seventh fret. I don't play the A. I just find it's always easier for me to move around when I'm on this position instead of this one. Okay, so the first chord is that one. You can play whatever version you want. Then and this is something I think some versions, some tabs miss from the song. A lot of places tell you to go directly into a D minor 7 chord, but you actually have to go to a C7 first. Okay, so once you play that A minor chord, you have to go to a C7 chord. And a C7 chord, it's if you play it up here, which I am going to teach you, not teach you, I recommend you to do it here because it's easier to slide. It's that you play the 8th fret, so you do a bar on the 8th fret with your first finger. Then you play with your middle finger the G on the 9th fret. Then on the 10th fret you play the A string with your ring finger. Okay, this is a C7 chord. So you go A minor to C7. Now, after watching the Midnight Special version, I'm pretty sure what the guitarist for Stories does is he slides to that C7 chord, maybe from one fret before. He slides up to that C7 chord, and what I like to do is to focus only on the low E, A, D, and G strings. So I don't play the high E and the B, so I only play this, and it makes the slide easier. Okay, so you until now have something like this. Okay, like that. You can also play the C7 down here, same notes, just that it's a different position. You play on the 3rd fret a bar with your ring finger from A to high E, with your pinky the B on the 5th fret, and with your ring finger the D. But the thing is that it's harder to do the slide here, and I'm pretty sure he does a slide every time he plays that C7 chord. It's not necessary for you to do it. You can just play the chord and then go to the next one. Next one, it's D minor 7. So you play a bar on the 5th fret with your first finger from A to high E. Middle finger plays the B on the 6th fret, and ring finger the D on the 7th fret. And those are the main chords for most of the main chord. Well, those are the chords for most of the chord progression. Okay, the groove, it's easier to find a lot of times if you have a wah pedal. You kind of make your own rhythm and your own groove to go around this, to play in the sun. You can also practice with the studio and the live audios that you have on YouTube. What I like to do is when I'm on that A minor, I play the bass note first and then the whole chord. I do the slide to the C7 and then I play the D minor 7. And the D minor 7 is where I do different rhythms. When you're on this chord, you can use your pinky to play the high string on the 8th fret and then take it away. Something you can do kind of to spice a little bit the chord, the sounds. So you are going to do that 3 times, and then for the 4th time you're gonna play E7. I like to play E7 this way. I'm gonna tell you in a bit why. Then you play D, and then you play A minor. That is the end of kind of like an entire run of the chord progression. So you do this 3 times. To go to that E7, the reason why I like to play this version is because you can do this. On the base of the chord, you can play 5th fret on the A, hammer onto the 6th, and then hammer onto the 7th. And when you are on that 7th fret of the A, you form the E7 and you play it. It's a really little cool lick you can do. You go D minor 7 and then to that A minor. Okay, so that is those are the main things you have to know for the chord progression. Let's go to the next part. Okay guys, the next part we have to learn is the main melody, kind of the main lead guitar melody that happens at the end of the intro and also in the chorus. You're gonna be playing the shapes I'm about to teach you. Okay, so this is mainly going to be on the B and the high E strings. The first shape is B on 10, high E on 8. Okay. Then we do 8 on B, 7 on high E. Then we do 5 on both B and high E. Then we do 5 on the B, 3 on the high E. And the last shape you have to know, 6 on the B, 5 on the high E. Okay? And that's the order that you have to use to play them. Okay. You hear the first 3 shapes twice. Okay, those 3 shapes you hear them twice on the melody, kind of like this. Okay, and then the last 2 they are played once. I like to slide up to that last shape. It's really cool to do that. I think that the guitarist for stories does that too. When I'm playing with the wah, instead of playing the first 3 shapes twice, like this, like that, what I do is I play them once, but I use the wah to go down twice, and that way it sounds as if I was playing the shapes twice, like this, but I'm actually playing them once, but the wah is doing the other part of the job. If you don't have a wah, or you just want to play them twice with the wah, you also can do that, like this. And remember, those 2 at the end have to be played twice. Okay, you're gonna do that for a bit, and the end of the lead guitar part is gonna be a phrase like this. There are different variations of this phrase. If you know your minor pentatonic, I'm pretty sure you can make one of your own. This version is gonna start with a bend on the 7th fret of the G. You're gonna hold this bend, and while you're holding it, your pinky is gonna play 8 on the B. Okay? And then you're gonna play the bend and release it. Then pull off from 7 to 5, and then play 7 on the D. And then you play a bend on the 8th fret of the B string. And you kind of add vibrato. That is the end of the lead guitar melody. Another variation I can teach you, it's this one. Really cool, and it shows the different ways you can use the minor pentatonic to create your own phrase. So you're gonna start by playing a hammer on from 5 to 7 on the D, then 5 on the G to 7 on the G. Then you do the same thing you did on the first phrase. You do that bend, and then you play the the B string on the 8th fret. Okay. Release the bend. Pull off from 7 to 5, and then play 7 on the G once again, then 5 on the G, hammer on to 7, and pull off, 7 on the D, and then you do that bend on the B string 8th fret with vibrato. This phrase uses staccato a little bit more, so you kill the sound in a lot of notes after you play them. And that would be, my friends, the end of the parts. No, sorry. We still have the solos. Yes, we still have the solos. Let's go for the solos. Okay guys, now for the solo, both solos are really cool. The first one is you have a melody that the guitar does on its entirety first, and then the keys do the same melody. And on the second solo, they both break the melody of the solo on phrases, and you have the guitar doing a phrase and then the keys does the same phrase, and they repeat that process until the end of the solo. So the first solo is gonna be it's going to start with a phrase like this. You're gonna slide to the 7th fret of the A string. You're gonna play 5 on the D twice. Okay, and you're gonna end on 7 on the D. Next phrase is slide to 7 on the D, play 5 on the G, then play 7 on the G twice, and you end by playing 7 on the D. Okay, so until now we have next phrase is a little bit longer. You slide, or you play 7 on the D, 5 on the G, 7 on the G, then you do 3 bends on the 8th fret of the B, and on the 3rd fret you're gonna release it, okay? And once you release it, you play 5 on the G, 7 on the D. Okay? Then the last phrase is gonna be, first you do this, you play 5 on the B, then 5 on the high E, 8 on the high E, 5 on the high E again, and 5 on the B. Okay? After that, you're gonna do 3 bends on the high E string of the 8th fret. Okay? Then you're gonna do a 4th bend, and you're gonna play 8 on the high E. Then you do this: 5 on the high E, hammer on to 8, pull off to 5. Okay, so until now, that last phrase is then you play 8 on the B, 5 on the high E, and then you play 5 on the high E again. Now, the end of the first solo, guys, it's gonna be 2 phrases that are really close together. It's basically one phrase, but I prefer to break it into 2 because there are a lot of notes. So I'm gonna play it, and I'm gonna then teach you how to do it. Okay, I'm gonna now do it slowly. So let's do the quote-unquote first phrase, and then that's the second one. You're gonna start by playing 5 on the B, 8 on the B, okay? Then 5 on the high E, and go back to 8 on the B. Then you play 5 on the B, 7 on the G, and then you do that again. So until now we have okay, and to end the first phrase, you're gonna play 5 on the G, 7 on the D. The first phrase is slowly. Once again. And then the second phrase, quote unquote, to end the solo happens immediately after you hit that 7 on the D. You go to the 5 on the high E, 8 on the B, 5 on the B, 7 on the G, 5 on the G, 4 on the G, 7 on the D, to 5 on the G, back to 7 on D. Okay? Now I'm gonna play both phrases once again slowly. That is the end of the first solo. Now guys, the second solo and the last part we have to learn of the song. It's gonna be really similar to the first one, just that now instead of the guitar playing the whole thing first, and then the keys doing this, almost the same thing. They are both breaking the solo on different phrases, and they are playing the same phrase one time the guitar, and immediately after that the keys play the same phrase the guitar did. So it's a really cool kind of question and answer thing in music to implement on your own songs and things like that. But let's learn the song. The first phrase, remember this is first being played by the guitar and immediately after that by the keys. The first phrase is gonna be, okay, this is the first phrase also on the first solo, so I'm not gonna teach it. It's the same as the first solo. Then the second phrase, it's also the second phrase from the first solo. So the beginning of both solos it's the same. Okay, then from the third phrase onwards, it's when it starts to change. The third phrase for the second solo, it's you slide to 7 on the D, play 5, 7 on the G, then you do a bend on the 8th fret of the B, and when you reach the note you want, you play the bend once again, and then you kill the sound. You don't release it, you just kill it. Okay, like that. Next phrase is you play 8 on the B, and then you do a double stop on the 5th fret on B and G. You play that. You play, of course, those notes at the same time, and you kind of drag them down a little bit, like a bend, and then you play 7 on the D twice. Okay, then we go to this phrase. You do 5 on the B, 5 to 8 on the B, then 5 to 8 on the high E. Okay, then you do 5 on the high E to 8 on the B. And to end the phrase, you play twice 5 on the high E. Okay, that phrase is gonna be played twice. So you do, and then to play the end of the second solo, you do this. Okay, you start that phrase by playing 5 on the B to 8 on the B. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna play what I'm about to teach you in a loop, okay, over and over again. Once you play 5 on the B and 8 on the B, what you have to play on a loop is this. Okay, 5 on the high E, 8 on the high E, back to 5, same string, and 8 on the B. Okay, that's what you have to play over and over again. So you start by doing this, and then you play the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? And then you play it until you have to go back to the chorus again, to the Louie, 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 Louie part. Yeah, that's the end of the second solo and the end of all of the parts we have to learn.